DK Audio presents Story Snacks, story bits for children to devour, by Kes Gray, read by Oliver Mason. Sophie sat up in bed and blearily rubbed her eyes. The clock on her bedside table said 2:26 a.m. The darkness in her room said, weird. She turned to her curtains. They were lined and thick, but through the weave of the fabric a sequence of colours was softly pulsing. Purple, yellow, silver. Purple, yellow, silver. Stiffening with curiosity, Sophie slid her toes out of bed and gingerly felt for her slippers. Tiptoe by tiptoe, she padded across the carpet. The closer she drew to her curtains, the stronger the colours became. Still faint, but still there. Purple, yellow, silver. Purple, yellow, silver. The pulsing went on and on. An arm's length from the window, she paused to catch her breath. One at a time, she raised her hands bravely, then gripped each curtain in turn and slowly eased them apart. A kaleidoscope of new colours invaded her room. Eye-popping oranges, brilliant blues, and giddying greens dazzled her eyes. Sophie gasped, whipped the curtain shut, and then froze. It couldn't be. It just couldn't. Heart pounding, fingers trembling, she parted the curtains again. The breath from her first gasp had misted the window. But with one swipe of her pyjama sleeve, she restored the garden to full view. Not only could it be, it was! A spacecraft was hovering at the far end of her garden, directly above the garden shed. Her eyes widened to the size of basketball hoops. She glanced over her shoulder in the direction of her mum and dad's bedroom. Perhaps she should wake them. Probably she should. But actually, she wouldn't. After all, it wasn't every night that aliens landed in your back garden. And Sophie had the best seat in the entire house. Sophie wasn't going anywhere. The spaceship was on the move. Kind of. Forward it lurched. Sideways it jolted. Upwards it jumped. Sophie's eyebrows jumped skywards with it. She had seen alien invasions in films before, but never an invasion like this. "Look out!" she squeaked, as the right flank of the spacecraft jerked sideways suddenly, crunching headlong into the branches of her neighbour's tree. "Stop!" she winced, as the belly of the spacecraft plummeted to within millimetres of her garden fence. "What's it doing?" she frowned. "Where's it going?" she puzzled. The answer was everywhere and nowhere fast. "I hope it's not going to fire a missile at the house," she gulped. "I hope the whole street isn't about to be evaporated by intergalactic gamma rays." The spacecraft lurched backwards, then skidded forward. It flashed amber. It glowed purple. It glittered gold, then suddenly it flipped. The spacecraft was now upside down and glowing red. A second later, it was the right way up, then upside down again. Sophie gasped and drew back from the window as the craft began to revolve. Her heart beat faster and her eyes saucered wider. Was this truly the beginning of the end of the world? Exactly what was the spaceship going to do next? The answer was a three-point turn, followed by some stop-start moves that nearly chopped the top of a telegraph pole 2 doors down. Roosting birds scattered from the trees, electricity wires twanged like guitar strings in the sky. "Oh my goodness," gasped Sophie. "Aliens have driving lessons too. The dragon swooped low over the village school, scorching the playground with a triple whammy of flame-throwing nostrils. 3 nostrils? Gasped Tallulah. I thought dragons only had 2 nostrils. Oh, this one really means business, shrieked Kai. Inside the school building, children stood agog. Their faces were pressed flat against their classroom windows, their knuckles and teeth clenched white and tight. The bike sheds are on fire! Screamed Ajab. The climbing frames have melted! Squealed Saskia. The drinking fountain has evaporated, cried Saul. The pupils of Gladstone Primary were right. It was Flamageddon out there. With each swooping descent, the dragon's searing breath brought red-hot carnage to their beloved playground. In a plume of smoke, the quiet bench turned to charcoal. With a trail of fire, the white lines of the hopscotch square were scorched black. After 3 more searing swoops, every centimetre of tarmac had begun to smoulder. With each fan of the dragon's wings, the entire surface of the playground blistered, bubbled, and boiled like a witch's soup. Return to your desks, children, the teachers hollered. Back to your lessons, they commanded. But the children weren't listening. The dragon had landed on top of their school gates, and the burning glare of its eyes had now fallen on them. With an ungainly hop, the dragon landed with a fiery splash on the molten tarmac. Ripples of black goo radiated from its tread as, step by step, snort by snort, it lumbered towards the school building. Oh, look at his claws! Gasped Deepa from the window of classroom 5B. Look at its teeth! Squeaked Alia from the window of classroom 6A. The children shuddered and then hugged each other tightly. Even with its wings folded, the scale of the dragon's body was huge. Squelch by squelch, shudder by shudder, it tramped towards the glass doors of the main entrance. With a sinuous shake of its armour-plated neck, the dragon paused deliberately to shake every trace of melted tarmac from its body. It's ringing the doorbell, yelled Smeeta from the window of Class 3C. And Smeeta was right. The fire-breathing visitor had extended a long, steely claw in the direction of the buzzer and was preparing to make an entrance. It's carrying a briefcase, squealed children from every classroom in the school. It was true. The dragon was encased in body armour plated with bulletproof scales, and concealed beneath its armpit was a red leather briefcase. Now it's putting a tie on, screamed Francesca as a teacher prized her away from the glass. Teachers throughout the school scurried to their stations at the front of every class. Return to your desks immediately, children, they shouted. Take your seats, fold your arms, face the front, and sit quietly. Our new head teacher has arrived. Logan sat on the sand, pulled the spade from his bucket, and began to dig. He had looked for treasure before, but never at this seaside, and never with this spade. This spade was red. This spade was sturdy. This spade was so new it still had the price tag on it. This spade felt lucky. It is fair to say that Logan was a treasure hunter in a hurry. He had tried his best to skip breakfast at the guest house that morning and had pestered his mum and dad to leave for the beach as soon as they possibly could. It was the first morning.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?